I just thought it would be really, really cool to have a conversation with all of you guys because you're all working in different aspects, the UAV field. So we just kind of maybe go around the room first and do, of course, I could do introductions, but I know you guys will each do it better, as we go through this. So I'm Paula Williams. We help aviation companies sell more of their products and services. And aviation, the definition of aviation has become different over the past few years to include UAVs and drones. And so, we wanted to invite some of our best friends, colleagues, clients, and so on to have a conversation about that.
John Williams. I work for her, and I've been in aviation for actually since I was 9. And I flew my first airplane when I was 9.
Oh,
It was a DC-3, and it was full of passengers.
okay. It's only slightly illegal, but okay.
Oh, hell yeah, but back then, nobody cared. An airline was putting in service to where we lived, and they were offering rides for $1. And my dad spent $2, and he and we went for a ride.
Nice.
And I got up there, and the stewardess, which is what they called them back then, came by and said, "How do you like this big old airplane?" I said, "I don't." And he said, "Whoa." She was taken aback. "Why?" He said, "I want to see what the captain's doing." She said, "Just a minute." She walked up, talked to him. Of course, there's no door in those things back then.
Right. Yeah.
And then she said, "He wants you to come up front." I said, "Okay." So I went up there. He sat in his lap, and we were talking. He said, "You want to fly this thing?" I said, "Sure." He said, "You do this, to go that way and this." And I watched him. His hand went down, turned his wheel. So I grabbed the wheel and gently turned it one way and put my hand down there and flipped what I know now is the trim wheel. And so I did this for about a half hour, actually.
Wow.
And he roared to his co-pilot, "This guy's going to make a pilot one day." Anyway, so I got into that. And then I went to the military for a bunch of years and got out. And then once we got carried away with this company and then things moved forward, I got a drone myself and went through all the rigmarole to become a recreational drone pilot. I have not yet gone the route to become commercial. I'm a commercial instrument and rotorcraft and, fixed wing and so forth and so on. But I haven't done the commercial yet on this one, time being primary. But I can tell you, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I got a cheap one. It's like $500. It has GPS. It has everything but obstacle avoidance, which is nowadays the next one will have. But, return to home, and I can look through the camera while it's flying and actually fly it on my cell phone. It's quite an interesting approach. And when they put a new roof on the house, I had it up there taking pictures of all the stuff that's going on while they did that. And we've had problems with some of our trees, and I can take it up to the top of the trees and take pictures and send it to the university so they can look at it and tell us what's wrong and what to do about it.
There you go. Nice.
So, yeah, drones are kind of interesting. And then I see what all they're doing all over the place. And what they've got in mind for coming up is just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, that's me.
All right. Well, I'm formally trained as a pilot. That's what I went to school for. I flew the line commercially back up in the northeast part of the country for a while, flying non-pressurized stuff. So getting my brains beat up, running up and down the northeast corridor. Decided at some point to go inside and run the operation. So I was SOC director. So I had crew and ops and dispatch. So I'm a licensed dispatcher as well. Needed software to run the business. Tied up with the small company. So long story short, I ended up going to work for the software company that I bought software from. So I'm product director now for ETT. I have actually all the products under me right now, but initially I came on board because of the flight planning system. So we implemented we implemented a flight planning system, which really is what got us into anything to do with drones, because we had a customer called Aqualine Drones. They're based in Connecticut, and they had a program where they would train you to be a 107 pilot and then help you actually like start your own business. So this was just even before I officially joined. I was talking to Tom, our CEO, and he's like, "Yeah, there's got to be something else we can do in the drone industry." So then I'm not even sure how we happened upon it, but then we happened upon this LAANC authorization to work with FAA to for people to submit an operation, and that as long as it meets certain requirements, we can auto approve it. Blah 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 blah. And the guys that were on the flight planning system, they had done a ton of stuff in the graphics world for flight planning. So it was a fairly easy transition to get the system up and running. It was not easy to get the certification from the FAA to do it, but we did. So once I took that on too, I decided, well, if I'm gonna deal with this, then I probably should be a 107 pilot. So I did get my 107 license with this Aqualine drone company. We just worked a deal. I actually went through their program and then took the test, and that was the first FAA test I've taken in years. So it was like very strange walking into that room to actually take a test and have to get graded and to determine whether or not you're going to make it. Um, so we're actually now, we knew we weren't going to get rich with this Lance thing. I mean, honestly, I mean, right now we just have the web page for people to go in and do the operations. We will do an iOS app for this as well. But we really got into it because we knew what was going to come down in the future. And this NPRM that hit the street a few weeks ago for it's called BVLOS, Beyond Visual Line of Sight. That's what really attracted us to the whole drone thing, because I've been working with the FAA most of my life, and I knew that there's no way that they're going to figure out how to do this on their own. So they are going to need assistance. So that's really why we kind of dipped our toe into it. So we're real excited to see how this thing is going to progress here. I guess that's longer than I thought I was going to talk. Anyway.
No, that's great. That's what we're hoping for, is just kind of a how did you get here story
Yeah.
from each of you guys, because I think that's really helpful to get to know each other and where we're coming from. Robert, how did you get here?
A long story, isn't it? So, about a year ago, I was driving down the highway here in Alberta, and I saw an advertisement for ag drones. It was a company called Sky Drones. And any rate, so I called them and went by and watched a demo of an ag drone, which is about 10 feet by 10 feet. And pretty interesting. Right away, I knew it was something I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure if there was an opening. There's only so many dealerships in Canada. And it turned out that there was an opening. I chose to go with the people in Edmonton rather than Lethbridge, which makes it a little more challenging. I did get my advanced pilot license, and unlike any of you, I didn't have the background. And that's a tough test when most of the questions are relative to aviation, not drones. At any rate, I have been conversing with John for, I don't know, a few years. We have never met in person, but I knew more or less what he did, and so I asked, if Paula would be interested in, working with this business here in Alberta. They thought, yeah, well, that seems like kind of a fun thing to do. Anyway, so we've got a good start. We got a ways to go, that's for sure. We're just building a website, and we're going to advertise to a farm group of 500, another farm group of 6,000, and then social media. So it'll be pretty exciting. What I've seen so far is better than what everybody else has got. So that's the good news. At any rate, we're ready to roll.
Oh, happy to hear that. And yeah, we are ready to roll. And I'm actually amazed at some of the things that drones can do for, some of the applications that it's used for save people so much money over any alternative way of doing anything. Especially in while we're talking with agriculture, a lot of small family farms, the problem is debt. The problem is capital costs and all of these kinds of things. So I think UAVs become kind of a real game changer in terms of the way that whole sector of the economy works, right? Because people don't have to invest millions of dollars in equipment. It, saves them a ton of money. So, that's really the bottleneck, I guess, in as I understand it in agriculture. And I'm no expert by any means, but I thought it really changes the game for that and for a lot of other industries as well.
So, so Robert, are you doing like spraying or what are you doing on the
So I'm a reseller for a DJI dealer.
Okay.
So there's 5 dealers in Canada, and there's a few resellers.
Okay.
But pretty interesting stuff. I had a Hutterite call me yesterday. He wanted some LED lights, which I've sold for years. But his first statement was, he said, how do I get a drone?" He was just teasing me. He says, "I've got 120-foot land sprayers." Says we can do 400 acres an hour. So there is an obstacle or two to get around. But this particular drone that we will primarily sell does 40 acres an hour. And, that's pretty significant too.
So is that the drone is specifically for spraying operations?
Yes. Yeah. You can also fertilize or seed with it. Like if the conditions are wet,
Yeah.
it just gives them one more tool, one more option.
Yep. Interesting.
I think everybody should have one, but I think eventually they'll take over and pretty much eliminate the land sprayers.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard, one of the interesting applications that I heard from agriculture, and this is when I was working with one of the companies, was that they were able, just with the mapping software that they were using, they would go out and fly an apple orchard, collect a whole bunch of data and be able to tell them what they thought the harvest was going to be, in really quick way of just picking up that data. So that's the kind of stuff that I find really cool with it, that we can do with it.
Yeah, and we've got I guess you could call it a mapping drone. You can map with the big one too.
Yes.
Or you can work from satellites or, various other sources. The Mavic 3 actually gives you color-coded information on the crop.
Okay.
You can tell where the weeds are. You can tell if it's lodging. You can tell if it needs moisture, all kinds of things. And it's way cheaper than, the best competitor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the amazing stuff, the data you can collect.
Exactly. I know it's just such a hard thing to get your head around, because people have been doing things the way they've been doing them for so long. And, you introduce a new technology. In a lot of cases, it's a new way of thinking. And Dana, I don't know if you have seen any particular, maybe nothing surprises you now, but what's the most surprising or the most interesting use of drones that you've seen?
I'm just amazed of what they're going to declare a drone now with this new NPRM, right? It can go to 1,300 pounds. I mean, that to me is insane, and I wanna see how they're going to do this. The other challenge that we're going to have with that is that, and again, if you guys have you seen the NPRM, read any summaries of it or anything like that? Because it's got some really interesting requirements. Like, we almost have to prove data confliction, right? That you're not gonna impede on another operation. So now you're talking about ingesting just a ton of data to then go through. So we're super interested to see how they're gonna expand. Are they gonna expand this Lance thing or not? But we'll see.
Right. Even in the short time that drones and UAVs have been around, everybody has this idea in their head of what a drone is. And, that changes the definition in a lot of people's minds of what is and what isn't a drone, right?
Yeah, 1,300 pounds. I mean, just think about that.
Yeah.
But okay, definitions. What's the difference between a drone and a UAV?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there an official I mean, they're kind of interchangeable. Most people are using an interchangeable.
In Canada, they call it an RCAS, right, Robert? That's a legal definition is a remote controlled aerial system, right?
Yeah, RPAS.
RPAS, sorry. Remote
Yes.
piloted aerial system.
The interesting thing in Canada is they're in 100 other countries, so we're kind of the last one in the world. So it's not like it's not proven elsewhere.
Mhm.
It's proven pretty much everywhere else. So that kind of gives us an advantage, but none of the sprays have been approved by the government here yet.
Mm.
So that's an interesting dilemma.
Mhm. Wow. Can you spray water? Is that like a thing, or is it
Yeah, we do demos with water.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you can see it. So
Right.
that's the idea. You know?
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And it seems to me like everybody's talking about drones as a quadcopter or some similar sort of thing. There are fixed wing drones available as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've got so the beyond visual line of sight thing is the real game changer in the States. Guys have been doing it on their waiver for quite a while. Like there was a big company called DroneUp in the States, and they had a deal with Walmart. And I sat through a presentation by the CEO of DroneUp, and he said the reason why we partnered with Walmart is because statistically 95% of the U.S. Population lives within 5 miles of a Walmart, right? So that was the reason for going in with them. But every time that they wouldn't want to go beyond visual line of sight, they had to get a waiver. So I mean, that's what this whole thing has been driving towards. How can we do this and not have to go through the waiver process, which can take time to get approved?
Yeah.
As a note of trivia, I have been in AMA, American Model Association, since forever. And back in the 70s, I put a TV camera in a fixed wing remote control plane like I've got on the walls up here. And I tried to fly it by reference to the TV I had on the ground. Whoa. I didn't crash it, but I was also not very good at it doing that way.
Yeah, I've never tried an FPV drone or anything like that. So I think that'd be kind of fun to do, but I personally haven't tried it.
And the drone I've got here is FPV capable. So
Okay.
I try it that way. I don't know. I mean, I only have this little screen, on the phone, but I can fly it by that.
Yeah.
And the remote control has got elevation and speed and direction displays on it. So I could do it. I just got to figure out what the cross check is. So I haven't completely been able to do it 100%, and I've been able to do some of it.
Wow. Yeah, it's skills. I mean, it's a lot of different things that go into this. So I don't know if either or any of you guys have any thoughts about conundrums that are coming up with safety, compliance, operational best practices, anything that you would want people to know about that they probably don't already know. Any gotchas that people should know about when they're doing business with UAVs or drones?
Well, some of the more sophisticated, shall I say, drones actually require two people. I went to an NAB, National Association of Broadcasters convention.
Mm, mhm.
And they have drones the size of which Robert's talking about. Well, they have one person that operates the camera, one person that operates or cameras, and another person flies the aircraft. And the darn thing, because they use it during films as well, and they can actually program the flight path. And like if they're running a car through some curves or something and chasing it, they can program the path exactly as they want it and push the button and run it several times so the camera guy can play with it and figure out exactly what he wants. I don't know what those cost, but I'm pretty sure they're pricey.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be cheap.
So, Robert, the one you're flying, does it require two people, or is this a one-person operation?
Well, one person probably wouldn't hurt to have two around, but basically they've got a 40-foot trailer. You fly two drones off the top deck, and that requires two licensed pilots, and you only ever have one on the deck at a time. But the visual line of sight is, a factor.
Wow.
So your farm drones don't go beyond visual line of sight.
Well, they could, but they shouldn't.
You have the capability, is what
I
you're saying.
mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody else is probably within 5 miles.
Yeah.
So, but it's still probably a good idea to follow the rules.
Of course. That's one thing I never would have thought of with relation to drones is like crew resource management. I mean, that's a factor in aviation. I never would have thought it would be like a factor with UAVs. But you've got two guys flying drones, or you have two guys flying the same drone, right?
Yeah. You got a ground crew.
Mm.
Especially
Each have a drone.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing with this NPRM is, these guys, the remote pilot is going to have certain training. They actually have duty and rest requirements now with this. So this is where it starts to kind of meld in really interesting with the rest of our suite that you're so intimately familiar with.
Pilots, yeah, exactly. You think of pilots having crew rest and crew resource management and training requirements and, all of that stuff. You never think of that, when you think of UAVs, right? They're just guys that fly drones.
Yeah, but commercially, you're going to have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then then we start talking about, is this drone going to be 1,300 pounds? Do we actually need to do some kind of a better flight plan for this thing than just tearing off, right? So that's why again we just find it really interesting how this is all feeding into like what our strong point is that we cover the full gamut of the operations side of the house.
I'll bet, I don't know, but I'll bet that they drones end up with an FMS that you have to program before you even get it off the ground.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's very, I have not, the NPRM is 700 pages, so I haven't read it. I've read a couple synopsis of it. So yeah, I don't know what some of the stuff is, but that's the kind of stuff that we've picked up on. And then on top of it, on top of how you are going to be required to operate, you have this other thing. It's called SDSP or something. You have to be like some kind of a data provider, and that's the person that's got to give you like any kind of conflict information for where you want to operate, and also pull in some weather data and stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they roll this thing out. And they're supposedly on a pretty tight timeline. So we'll see what happens.
That is crazy. It's gonna be I guess any new technology is so disruptive, and of course, we're a marketing company, so we're looking at how do we reach the people that you need to reach, Dana and Robert, to find the people that should be operating these or, that should be, using your services. And Dana, for you, it's fairly simple because, drone operators are licensed, so they're fish in a barrel. It's one of the nice things about advertising in the aviation industry is that we know who the potential customers are. Robert, you've got a different scenario because your folks are not licensed drone operators yet. They're people that have been operating their farms in a different way all these years, and now they have a different opportunity. So it's kind of a first mover scenario as opposed to people who are already licensed it.
We know who's a potential customer.
That's true. And you've got, I think it's a really great marketing scenario because you know very well, some of the social systems of these colonies and how they operate their farms and, who's in charge and who's, makes the decisions and how that all works. So knowing your customer is just incredibly important for all of this.
I think once you get a satisfied customer out there that not only use it, but realize that's the only way to go, your business is going to go bonkers.
Mhm.
because everybody's going to want it when they realize how much money they can save.
That's always a challenge, I guess, getting somebody to go first. And we represent a couple of, innovative companies that either have a brand new aircraft, that's maybe taking position orders for something that, their neighbor doesn't have one. I mean, they're going to be the first one flying that aircraft, or people who are doing technology in a different way, like aircraft records in a different way than people have done before, or farming in a different way that people have done before. I think people underestimate the inertia of this is what made me successful. I don't want to change anything. So we kind of have to break through that to, be really convincing of, there is a better way and it really will work, that kind of thing.
So, Robert, are there any farms up there right now using drones?
Not legally, anyway.
Of course not.
There's hundreds of drones that have been sold, so they believe that the government will approve the pesticides and the herbicides and all of the products, but they're taking a long time. The group I work with has been going for 2 years, so I think there's maybe a mosquito spray approved, and that's it. It doesn't make any sense because, we can do things that a lot of the helicopters or the planes or the land sprayers can't do. If you've got pivot irrigation systems or trees or fence lines or small little areas to get into, we can do it. So, but the government doesn't always, do things like they should.
Imagine that.
Yeah, they can make it miserable.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't want to play with the farmers too much. A couple of years ago, when they were giving the farmers a hard time, they drove their combines into Ottawa, Ontario.
I heard about that. That's cool.
Yeah, and you don't want to monkey with the farmers.
Good.
Make them mad, and they will take some action.
Yep.
Block roadways and borders and all kinds of things.
Make a scene in the most polite way possible.
Yeah. Well, they want to use them.
Oh, yeah. I get it. Absolutely.
So, Robert, how big is the drone that you guys are using? The Mavic?
So they weigh about 80 pounds empty, without a battery, without liquid or dry product in it. When you spread the arms out and the propellers out, it's about 10 by 10.
Wow. Okay.
And about 3 feet tall. So, and they're incredible. I mean, you can program them totally. You've got the field mapped out, and you set the return to home and everything, and you can just sit there and watch it, and it'll land within a centimeter of where it took off.
What's the battery life on something like that?
They're in 4 or 5, 6 minutes. That's a cycle. So it's probably got maybe 60% battery left at that point. So probably 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that.
Oh, that's not a lot. Okay.
When you fill it, you change the battery each time, and recharge a battery completely is 9 minutes. So if you got 3 batteries, it's not going to be a holdup.
So what's the average? Well, I don't know how to say this. How fast are they when they're out spraying? I mean,
probably about 25 kilometers an hour.
Whoa, that's actually pretty quick.
10 feet off the ground. You can set everything, and it'll adjust everything to get the right application for you. It's pretty scientific, pretty incredible, actually. And farmers are used to, mapping their fields for the combines and everything else. So that's a big part of, changing over.
Nice.
That's not going to work then.
Yeah.
So 25 kilometers per hour is about 15 miles an hour. That's pretty quick for a drone 10 feet off the deck.
And you can probably go faster than that. But so they've got another one that they've tested in China, the T100, and it'll go 44 miles an hour. It's about twice as big. Well, twice as heavy, not twice as big.
So that twice as heavy, meaning it's got more carrying capability?
Yes. Yeah, twice, pretty much. Yeah. And it doesn't mean you can do twice as much spraying, but it certainly improves it.
Yeah.
Maybe up to 60 acres an hour.
So when it returns to home, so you program it, it goes out and does its thing. When it comes back, how fast can you change a battery and reload it?
It's probably close to 30 seconds.
Wow.
It's like a gas pump. You're only putting in 10 gallons. And
Oh, good point.
as you're filling the tank, you're changing the battery.
Wow.
Probably
Cool.
another 30 seconds and it's in the air again. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
So you have a pit crew for your, as well as your pilot, which are probably the same people, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I've learned a heck of a lot today about all of this. Did we want to go maybe around the room one more time and if anybody has a favorite drone story or a favorite UAV story or anything else you want to share? Let's do John, Dana, Robert, if that works.
Yeah, you said John, right?
I did say John, Dana, Robert.
Yeah,
I threw my husband under the bus first.
Well, I can relate at least an interesting a place that can't be discussed, but using a Predator-style drone with an empty bay in it, they've been able to remove people from places they can land.
Wow. Yeah, I'd heard that they do search and rescue, and they actually can find people in a remote location or mountainous location, whatever, and drop them like a care package and a
Oh, yeah,
beacon.
that's
So
easy. Even in the States, you can do that, but some
right.
places, if there's a road nearby where somebody can get to, they can do that.
Wow.
We can send a predator to go pick them up.
Wow.
Well, not any Predator, but those configured with a place to put a person.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you think, "This thing doesn't have a pilot." That's you know? I mean, it
Yeah,
does,
am
but it's just not on board.
gonna go lay down in a thing that I can't see out of that somebody else is piloting?
Pretty much.
That sounds like a great idea. Well, if somebody was shooting at me, it probably would sound like a great idea, but
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Anyway, any way to get out.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I,
No, I mean, they use them for firefighting, they use them for, air-sea rescue, they use them for all kinds of stuff, for
Yeah.
initial contact. They found people that they thought would never be found, even in the last year with drones. Then they sent somebody in to get them.
yeah, for me, I guess I hate to admit the fact that when I got a commercial drone, good sized drone, and first time I went out to fly it, it got away from me, and so I had to hit the abort button and just crash the damn thing. So it was a pretty short lived commercial drone for me. But like we're just super interested to see what's going to happen, and again, go beyond drones. Now I start talking about urban air mobility, and what's going to happen there. I mean, I it's been interesting to see what's going on with the manufacturers of the equipment. I mean, they're starting to drop off pretty quickly here. So the cream's going to rise to the top here, I think, pretty soon. Um, for other than China, I think the first place you're going to see it is in Dubai. And again, how once it does get over here in the States, how are they going to manage this?
Exactly.
And that's I guess that's always my approach. Because because of my background as a pilot and everything else, and working with the FAA, they're not gonna figure it out.
And where do you cross the drone into, I don't know the generic term for it, but, they have aircraft now, and they're active in Dubai.
Yeah,
And pilot, oh, not even remote. You go sit in a thing and you push a button on where you wanna go, and the thing takes off and takes you there.
yeah. I, I would have a hard time trusting that right now myself.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, think about the Jetsons, right? I mean, we're getting pretty close to what's going to happen here. People are going to be zipping around all over the place.
Yeah, I know when I went in the military, I was very careful after I got out of flight school I chose an airplane that if all hell broke loose, I would still have the ability through mechanical linkages to get it to the ground.
Well, the amazing, well, and I haven't flown one. The Sirius or Sirius or Cirrus, I don't know how you pronounce it. That's got the parachute, right?
Yeah, serious, right.
Serious.
All else fails, you pop the damn chute and you'll make it to the ground safely, hopefully.
Yeah, I like Garmin's approach better.
The
Okay.
Autoland? Yeah.
Yeah, the Autoland.
Oh yeah.
The thing, well, it knows where you are in time and space. You know, all you gotta do is push a button. If somebody or everybody or anybody's been incapacitated, it calls ATC, it does all the stuff it's gotta do. It'll land the airplane at the closest place and shut down the engine and call emergency services. I mean, it does all that. And it's certified by the FAA, and it's in, one of the Piper aircraft. It's in a Cirrus, and I think there's one other. There are 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. I didn't know that one. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that is something else.
But,
Well, yeah.
with you, I'm not gonna get in something that I can't get the controls with and there's nobody on board to do anything.
No.
And I'm all for new stuff, but I gotta have a better way for me.
Yeah.
Understood. Robert, you have a story you'd want to share?
Well, everybody knows I'm new, so that, but it wasn't reassuring to hear Dana talk about, boarding his drone.
Mm.
Because in the next week I'm going to be flying the little drone, but it's $6,000 or $7,000, and the big drone is like $40,000, and so I'm going to have that experience here within a week.
Good.
Good for you. And yeah, you just got your license just recently. That sounds like that was quite the FAA bureaucratic nightmare of vocabulary word.
Very few drone questions.
Of course.
Almost everything was airport aircraft.
Hmm.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, and trick questions as well. Even when you know the answer, you're not sure you know the answer.
Yeah. Well, that's just typical of any government.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And you have to kind of figure out, what is it that is really going to work.
So you have to have a license to fly recreational? Is that what you said?
Depending on the size of the drone, the weight of the drone.
Okay. Okay.
So, yes, yeah, you do. Which will be interesting with the farmers, because that's not their first instinct is to, go get a pilot license.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's been like a huge challenge here in the States, right? Because people they just think they can go and do whatever they want, right? I mean, I live close to an airport here that's within the range where you need to get approval to fly, right? I mean, if you're not near the airport, it doesn't matter. You can do what you want to do. Well, the guy down the street who's a captain for an airline is out there flying a drone in the street. I'm like, did you get approval for this? He goes, I don't need approval. I'm like, well, I hate to tell you, you do.
Kind of.
I don't think a black Suburban is going to roll up here and throw you in the back or anything. But I mean, you're in violation.
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty good size fines too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're getting pretty tough down here.
Yep.
So I know something that impressed me about this little $500 drone that I've got. You get it up around 13,000 feet, and that thing just goes like crazy. And I mean, I'm surprised at the power it's got. And what? Huh?
13,000?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We can't fly higher than 400 feet.
400 feet. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't higher than 400 feet, but I was 13,000 foot up a mountainside.
Oh, okay. MSL. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't say that. I just wanted to get people's attention. But no, I mean, you take it up there and this thing will do everything it does, and it is not, the controls aren't mushy. I mean, it's really impressive. I was surprised.
Yeah. It's amazing what they can do.
All right. Well, in the last couple of minutes, let's just kind of go around the room and do a elevator pitch. That's something we practice in our marketing for your company and what you do and why people should be doing business with you if they're working with drones. So, and of course, ABCI is very, very happy to get more clients that work with UAVs, drones, or any other type of technology that has to do with the FAA, because it does have a lot of interconnected bits and pieces. And, working with a marketing company that understands that and can help you find your audience and communicate with them in a compelling sort of way, I think is kind of important. So, yeah. And John, you'll probably do the same elevator pitch, so you don't have to do one if you don't want to.
I can't top what she said.
You're not as good as elevator pitches. You're not the marketing guy. But Dana and Robert, you get to be the marketing guy. So,
Yeah, again, so we're just really because of what we do. I mean, the drone stuff was just a small little project that now we expect is going to potentially grow into something a lot bigger than that. We just think we're really well positioned to be able to offer to the FAA alone, like, we can actually help you do this depending on how you want to expand it. But then when we have our crew side of the house, we can track your training records, we can track your duty times, all that. And if it really gets to a point of you've got a 1,300-pound drone that you want to do a real flight plan for, then we've got that piece too. So we're just really super interested to see how this is all going to come together.
It's certainly going to be interesting.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's what makes my job super interesting. I just like to see what's going on out there and see what's going to happen.
Now my computer's doing weird things.
Oh, fun. Well, you want to do a real quick elevator pitch and then we'll sign off before it gets too weird?
So mine is kind of two-part. I have to convince that farmer that he needs a drone, and pretty much everybody could use a drone. There's no question about that. But the second part of it is to reassure him that we'll be there for servicing and training, licensing, all of the academic part. You got to believe in you.
Absolutely. Yep. Right.
But it's going to be quite helpful to have you guys helping because, it looks professional. It's just good. Really good.
Right. Well, we've really enjoyed working with both of you guys. You're really a lot of fun to work with, and you're definitely collaborators, which is exactly what we're wanting, especially with something that requires so much high touch and high tech between you and the consumer for any of these products and services. So we've really enjoyed working with both of you.
Yeah, as do we. We appreciate all the help you guys give to us. So it's been pretty crazy the past few months.
Yes.
It has.
Not boring, right?
Yes, no.
They know how to keep us busy, don't they?
Yeah.
That's my job, is to keep you busy, either with marketing tasks or with new customers. That's the idea. So, or both, ideally. So, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you taking the time.